In this corner of the Marvel Legends Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest, Monica Rambeau is Captain Marvel, and in this corner of the Marvel Legends Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest, Secret Wars style Doctor Doom. Is this video actually going to be a Versus style review? No, but the box calls it a Versus, so who am I to argue? Welcome to 5 Points of Articulation, where I review action figures and then articulate 5 points to help you decide if you want to add that figure to your collection. The 5 points I discuss are packaging, presentation, posability, playability, and price. I'm Jason, and if you enjoy my content, please like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube rigmarole. Starting off with the packaging, we have one of those Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest windowless boxes. I will say that Dr. Doom is in a pretty dynamic pose, showing off some genuinely creepy artwork behind him. Monica, however, is standing tall and poised, digital renders on one side, and some more comic art on the other side. For anyone looking for local sales, and here's the UPC, and then on the back a couple of more renders as well as the accessories that they come with. Now that the windowless box era is coming to an end, it's nice to see Hasbro acknowledge it for the failed experiment that it was. Though admittedly this one is slightly more visually interesting than usual. Even so, for packaging, I'm giving Captain Marvel vs. Dr. Doom half a point. Bah! Moving on to presentation, and Captain Marvel stands at 6 1/4 inches, whereas Dr. Doom is a little over 6 1/2. Reuse is always the name of the game in action figures, and that's the same here, but both figures do have a surprising amount of new pieces. Naturally, Monica's been given an all-new head sculpt. Comparing it to the artwork on the box, and I think Hasbro's done a great job. I'm particularly taken by what a great job they've done with her hair. So much texture and depth. Unfortunately, there's been a casting issue, and so a chunk is missing out of her left nostril. Otherwise, the paint job is mostly nice, though according to the box, it does look like she's supposed to have brown eyes. She's also been given new arms to accommodate those billowy sleeves. Similar to characters like Falcon or Vulture, that's accomplished by having two separate pieces. It does make posing her dynamically a challenge, but other than giving her soft goods, I don't really know what they could have done differently, and for my needs I'm happy. Similar to the mask, her logo's been painted very crisply. Otherwise, her body comes from Age of Apocalypse Rogue. You can tell by the extra hole which was used for her collar. One thing I will plead ignorance on are the boots. If these came from anywhere else, I have no idea, so if you do, sound off in the comments. If they're not new, leastways they're new to me. Victor Von Doom, by contrast, has less reuse. His reuse comes in the form of his arms, his legs, and his feet. Those come from 80 Years Iron Man. The hands appear to be new, though I suppose they could come from a version of Doom I don't have. Otherwise, this torso is new and is unmistakably straight out of Secret Wars. It's been cast in a marbleized plastic, but they have gone in and added black line work to all the different seams and panels. Given how much Hasbro cheaps out on paint, this is a really nice surprise. Flipping them around, they didn't continue that paint work on the back, so you do get an idea of how it could have looked. A little paint goes a very long way. Doom has been given this leg band, which is adjustable. It does a great job of hiding the thigh cut, but the most striking new piece is this unmasked head. Doom famously appeared unscarred in that storyline. I love this head sculpt, and I think it could probably be very useful for swaps. Great paint job on that too. He also has a separate dangly piece for his hood. With Monica Rambeau finally making her big screen debut in the Marvels, it's great to see this version of the character get some action figure love, and finally getting a Marvel Legends style version of this Doom is a welcome surprise. While there's a lot of reuse, it works to these figures' advantage. In spite of some minor QC issues, for presentation, I'm giving this 2-pack 1 whole point. Moving on to posability, and there are a couple of significant differences between these two, some of which will be pretty divisive. Because of her hair, Monica can't look up too far, but Vic is pretty impressive. That said, both get a very impressive amount of down. Although they can wobble, neither one gets any real tilt, but both can look all the way around. Moving down, they can raise their arms up this high, with Monica having a marvelous edge, but whereas Doom has bicep swivel and double jointed elbows, Monica only has single jointed swivel. This is in service to her swoopy sleeves. Had they started the swoop just a few centimeters lower, I think that they could have probably squeezed in bicep swivel, but given that the elbow swivel, I personally think it would have been kind of redundant. In a post-Shriek world, I know that this is a deal breaker for some, but she's got a deeper bend than Vic, so that's good enough for me, and both of them have swivel hinge wrists. Moving Moving to the middle, and Monica has a diaphragm joint, whereas Doom has an ab crunch and a waist swivel. They can arch back this far with Monica clearly doing better, and they can hunch forward this far with Victor having the better range. That said, the only other thing that he can do is twist, whereas Monica can twist and tilt. Just mind how it breaks up her logo. Although the waist in both figures have ball jointed hips, Doom can kick about 90 degrees and split this wide. The Captain can kick over 90 and split just about as wide. Moving down, each one has thigh cut, double jointed knees with Monica being pinless, and while Doom might have boot cut rotation, both figures have Marvel Legends ankles that can hinge, and like Monica Rambeau from one code name to another, pivot. While double jointed elbows are always preferred, in a case like Monica, I think the way they did it makes total sense. Ab articulation aside, there really isn't much difference between these two. So for posability, I'm giving Dr. Doom and Captain Marvel 1 whole point. Moving on to playability, and the only thing that Monica's been given is an alternate pair of fists. Would have been nice to get some energy effect or something like that to go with them. Dr. Doom was also given an alternate pair of fists and an alternate head with his mask and hood. It's worth noting that this is actually the alternate head that came with the Super Scroll Wave Dr. Doom and also the standard for the retro card. It has, however, been given a new hood. Great detail in there, especially with the painted eyes, and I'm really impressed by just how flush the hood is with the body. If you can get past the skin around the eyes, I think this would make for a great Doombot. One of my favorite features, though, is this alternate mask plate. It doesn't exactly click into place or anything, but if you shove it on there hard enough, it'll stay. More importantly, it gives Dr. Doom a really cool prop. But playability is more than just accessories, it's also about how well your figures play with others. And since this is mainly a Secret Wars inspired set, I'm going to be sticking with characters who appeared in Secret Wars. First up, and here we have the 20th anniversary Captain America, 80 years Iron Man. Just a reminder though that this is actually Rhodey during the Secret Wars story, 80 years Thor, and the 80 years Incredible Hulk. On the subject of Hulk, and here's She-Hulk reminding us that we really need an updated regular version. And then here we have Hawkeye from the Sky Cycle set, and the Molten Man Wave Julie Carpenter Spider-Woman. Spider-Woman's a perfect segue to black costume Spider-Man because, well, Secret Wars is where he got it, but for a standard Spidey that I think would be perfect for Secret Wars, and here we have Retro Card. Spidey brings us to his good friend the Human Torch and to the Fantastic Four. Here we've got Ben Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, and Dr. Doom's mortal enemy, Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic brings us to future fellow Illuminati member, Professor Xavier, and to the X-Men. Here's Cyclops, the field leader, Wolverine in his brown and orange, 80s style Mohawk Storm, the closest thing I have to 80s style Rogue, Nightcrawler, who accidentally nudged Dr. Doom in between takes, and Colossus. Colossus brings us to Magneto and some of the other villains who appeared in Secret Wars. Here we have Ultron looking quite a bit shinier than Doom. From Spider-Man, and here we have Dr. Octopus sans tentacles, so he could actually fit between these two. Leapin' Lizards, it's Dr. Kurt Connors. Next up is Kang the Conqueror. But coming full circle, and here we have classic Dr. Doom. Again, if you wanted to use the new one as a Doombot, I think it would work really, really well. That said, for the biggest villain to appear in Secret Wars, and here they are with Galactus. But for a relative scale comparison, here's Captain Marvel and Dr. Doom with Pizza Spidey and the Spectacular Spider-Man. And as always, here they are with Stealth Iron Man. As much as I like this Captain Marvel, the lack of accessories will be costing Monica. So for playability, I'm giving her half a point, whereas Dr. Doom gets 1 whole point. This leaves us with nothing left to discuss but the price. The set originally retailed for $50, which when you think of everything that went into Doom seems like a pretty fair price. As for Captain Marvel, not so much. Fortunately, I got mine for 50% off at Target, which more than made up for it. For price, I'm giving Captain Marvel versus Dr. Doom 1 whole point, giving Monica a grand total of 4 out of 5, making Victor the victor at 4.5 out of 5. Huh, I guess this turned out to be a versus after all. If you like this video, check out one of these. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again real soon, but until then, play nice and have fun.